Before we begin, let me ask you something. How does a bright, athletic college student from a normal family end up at the center of one of the most disturbing cases in modern American history? Because on the surface, nothing about this night made sense. No drugs found that should have caused it. No clear motive. No warning that anyone took seriously. What happened next was so violent, so chaotic, that even seasoned investigators struggled to explain it. And when the story finally hit the headlines, people rushed to label it. But labels don't explain behavior. To understand what really happened, you have to go back before the night everything exploded. I'm Dr. Lucien Samuel Crowe, and if you're interested in stories where the truth hides in plain sight, the moments everyone missed, you're in the right place. This is Final Frame Mysteries. If you find this story compelling, take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next case. Now, let's go back to the final frame.
What if the person you've trusted your whole life suddenly looks at you and asks what year they were born, like the answer decides who lives? This story begins in a wealthy Florida community, sun, palm trees, perfect lawns, where nothing like this is supposed to happen. Austin grew up comfortable. Good schools, good parents, stable life, until one year shattered the family rhythm without warning. His parents divorced, new partners appeared fast. Austin and his younger sister learned to smile through it, at least on the outside. At school, Austin excelled, advanced classes, top grades, and on the field, he looked built to hit hard. But he didn't have that fire. Coaches tried to provoke him, to flip a switch. It never worked. Austin wasn't a crusher, he was a helper. In his final year, he became obsessed with one question: what job lets me help the most people? He smiled when he said it. He got accepted into a prestigious pre-med path. The family celebrated like the future had finally clicked into place. Late summer, they drove north to university, hug at the dorm. "You're ready," they told him, believing it completely. First year looked perfect. Grades, girlfriend, fitness. Online, he looked unstoppable. Stronger every week. But alone, he wrote a different truth. They don't accept me. The fear got louder at night, and it never really shut up. He started chasing relief. Alcohol, stimulants, psychedelics. Anything that could drown the noise for a few hours. When the highs faded, the lows hit harder. And he began searching the internet like it could diagnose his mind. Am I crazy? Obsessive thoughts. What happens if you don't sleep? He wasn't asking for trivia. He was asking for rescue. Summer break. He came home, and within days the family knew something was seriously wrong. Austin moved his bed into the garage. He said the house filled with demons after midnight. Every night he patrolled, circling rooms like a guard on duty, knocking every 2 hours. "I'm protecting you." The family didn't know what to do. They started locking their doors, not from a stranger, but from their own son. They confronted him. He admitted the drugs, and the family clung to that explanation like a life raft. But then Austin said he'd stopped, and still, he kept unraveling. The drug answer stopped fitting. Mid-August, the family prepared an emergency evaluation, 72 hours to figure out what was happening before it got worse. But the crisis didn't wait for paperwork. It started with Austin at a friend's door, early morning, unannounced. Austin asked one question: "What year was I born?" He heard the answer, showed no reaction, and walked away. Minutes later, the friend called him, got him to return, because whatever that was, it didn't feel like a prank. They gathered others, Austin's sister included, and decided on something simple: beach, sun, normal. On the way, Austin split off, said he had to grab something at home, promised he'd meet them at the water. When he returned, he looked like a different person. Heavy jersey, thick pants, sunglasses, even 2 watches, on a blazing day. They teased him lightly. Austin didn't laugh. His face tightened. Then he snapped, a flat, deadly warning. Silence fell. Nobody joked anymore. His sister stepped in, calming him, and for a second he seemed normal again. Then Austin said it, like it was obvious. He wasn't fully human, and he couldn't die. His sister pleaded, "Get help, please." And Austin, surprisingly, agreed, like he'd been waiting for permission. Evening came. Austin left the beach with his sister and his closest friend to meet his father for dinner. Near traffic, Austin turned and said casually, "I need to test it," then stepped toward the road like it meant nothing. She held him close, positioned her body between him and the street, and guided him to the restaurant like escorting a sleepwalker. Inside, they sat in a back booth. Austin, sister, friend, father, father's partner, trying to pretend this was normal. 3 minutes in, Austin stood, drifted toward the front, then walked out without a word. A minute later, he returned and sat down like nothing happened. Nobody knew which Austin they were getting anymore. Less than 10 minutes later, he left again, straight out the door, faster, disappearing into the night. Minutes later, his mother heard someone enter her nearby home. She found Austin in the kitchen, doing something bizarre, like he wasn't in control. She drove him back, watched him walk inside and left, thinking the crisis was contained in that booth. Austin returned with different clothes and a different energy. His father finally snapped, "What is wrong with you?" Austin shoved his father back into the seat, brief, shocking force, then released him and walked out again. The friend chased him outside, seconds too late. Austin was gone. Like a switch flipped, then vanished. The father's partner called police. Missing person, unstable, unknown danger. It felt dramatic, until it wasn't. 4 miles away, a different couple sat in their open garage. Retired, relaxed, the kind of people everyone liked. The husband was out walking the dog. The wife was alone for a moment, just another quiet night. Across the street, their neighbor heard a strange sound, then a scream that didn't belong in that neighborhood. He ran outside and saw a young man in the driveway, unknown, moving with frantic purpose toward the open garage. The wife in the garage looked terrified. The neighbor sprinted across, thinking, "Stop this before it gets worse." Before he reached them, Austin attacked, violent, sudden. The neighbor shouted, lunged, trying to pull him away. Austin turned and warned him, "You don't want part of this." The neighbor didn't back down. They fought. The neighbor landed a hard throw. For a second, it looked like Austin might stay down. Then pain exploded. Sharp, sudden. The neighbor realized he'd been cut and was losing blood fast. Austin came forward again. The neighbor made a brutal choice: run, call for help, and pray the couple survives. He dialed emergency services, bleeding badly, gasping out what he could. Attack across the street, someone down. Across the street, the sounds continued. Animal-like grunts, screaming, noise that made no sense in a quiet suburb. First, police arrived fast. Second officer followed, seeing something impossible first: a river of blood down the driveway. At the top of the drive, the husband lay there, barely alive, whispering for help, while Austin clung to him. The officers couldn't shoot safely. They tried a taser. Austin didn't react, like his mind wasn't in this world. They fought to separate him. Kicks, force, commands. Austin kept returning, driven by one terrible obsession. A police dog latched onto Austin's arm. He tore away again and again, ignoring pain like it was irrelevant. Finally, timing and force knocked Austin off long enough for cuffs. Even restrained, he screamed to be killed. The wife was gone. The husband died from the injuries. The neighbor survived, barely, because he ran when he had to. Then Austin collapsed, unresponsive. At hospital, doctors found he'd ingested something toxic and his organs were failing. He fell into a coma for days. When he woke, he recovered physically, leaving one question: what was he during the attack? At first, everyone assumed drugs. Certain synthetic drugs had caused violent rampages before. That story felt easy. But toxicology came back. No frenzy-inducing cocktail, just trace cannabis. He was effectively sober. When police asked why, Austin first said he didn't know. Then he described a dark figure chasing him. He claimed he saw evil, white-faced, closing in. He ran until he found a brightly lit garage and begged strangers for help. In his mind, the woman inside wasn't a person. She was a threat. His perception snapped and reality broke. He said his memory blanks after that. No recollection of the neighbor, the husband, the police, the dog, nothing. The public didn't buy it. People thought he was faking, building an insanity story to escape consequences. but a forensic expert assessed him and focused on one thing. Austin ignored survival instinct completely during the struggle. A drug person often still tries to protect themselves. Austin didn't. He behaved like a mind trapped in a delusion. The expert named a rare phenomenon: the belief you're no longer human, something animal, driving instinct over identity. Earlier, Austin had claimed strange things: immortal, half animal, like his mind was rewriting him into something else. He later expressed remorse, breaking down, saying he didn't understand what happened, only that something was deeply wrong. The victim's family wanted justice with full awareness. No fog, no excuses, because their loss was permanent. And Austin remained in custody, waiting, caught between a broken mind, a broken system, and consequences that can't be undone. But here's what makes this story linger. The warning signs weren't hidden. They were loud, and everyone hoped they'd fade. When people ask, how could this happen? They want one clean answer, one cause, one villain you can point to. But sometimes the truth is messier. A person can look fine at noon, and by midnight, reality is no longer shared. Austin wasn't born a monster. He was a kid who wanted to help people. Then something inside him started lying to him. The terrifying part isn't just what happened. It's that the earliest signs looked like weird summer behavior, until it didn't. There's a lesson people hate. Loving someone doesn't automatically give you the tools to save them. And systems designed to help, evaluations, holds, plans, move slower than a mind in freefall. If Austin's story is true, he ran from an imagined evil and collided with innocent people who had no idea what was coming. If it's not true, then the horror is different, that a person could do this knowingly. Either way, the outcome is the same. The neighbor who ran wasn't a coward. He was a survivor, injured, terrified, and he got help when seconds mattered. The husband who returned did what many would do. He moved toward danger to protect the person he loved. The wife's garage, once a place for laughter, became a crime scene in minutes. That contrast is what haunts people. And Austin's family? They didn't miss signs out of laziness. They were watching someone they loved disappear in real time. That's why this case feels like a nightmare. The villain isn't a stranger. It's the sudden collapse of a mind you recognize. When a mind breaks, it doesn't always break loudly. Sometimes it breaks in whispers. No sleep, paranoia, strange beliefs. The hardest question isn't what happened. It's when could it have been stopped? And nobody wants to guess wrong. Because if you act too early, you look dramatic. And if you act too late, you live with a different kind of regret. Austin will face judgment, but the people left behind will also carry judgment, quietly, every time they remember that night. If you take anything from this story, take this. When someone starts fearing demons in the dark, treat it like smoke, because fire may be next. The strange, dark, and terrifying part isn't that this happened once. It's that it can happen quietly until it finally can't. So here's the question I'll leave you with. If someone you loved began slipping away, would you recognize the moment to act before the night did it for you?